Easy peasy, baby. We walked straight out of the Lao onto a bus, come off the other side. There's everyone queuing for a visa. I asked the lady.
We filled out our forms and went and joined the queue. And I thought, there's no other Westerners here. Go and ask somebody. He said, no, go to the passport desk. So we did. There was a Westerner in front of us that got rejected. Don't know why.
They got stroppy because I didn't put the hotel I was staying in.
Yeah.
So I made one up. I don't know if it's spelt right, but he smiled, he stamped it. We've got another 45 days. Unfortunately, we have to go home. But that was possibly the quickest Southeast Asian border crossing
Ever.
On the planet.
Ever.
So anyone who says they have trouble, it's because you don't look hard and ugly like we do. Right, 6 minutes past 12 and the tuk-tuk dropped us off. We've walked up the driveway. 6 minutes past 12 and Claire's booking us in. We're big happy smiley people, which is great. It's good to be back in the land of smiles, not the land of miserable.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Some of the people are lovely, but they all smile here.
I hope everybody who watches this knows who I mean, but our bus driver was even worse than Mr. Grumpy. And if you want to know who Mr. Grumpy is, get yourself to a bar in Bournemouth called All Hail Ale. That is Mr. Grumpy.
Hi, Pete.
But the bus driver we've just had makes Pete look like makes him look like a clown.
This is strangely familiar.
So we've crossed the river.
We're in another country.
And we're in the opposite park to the one you were watching 20 seconds ago, probably. So this one is apparently a little bit more macabre. There you go, we just walked through the door and there's an elephant being hounded by
Hounds.
a pack of dogs. The statues are a lot bigger here. Yeah. I think the first one was well, it wasn't a test. The first one was his folly, and when he fled and came to Thailand, he, 5-6 years later, started building this one.
So he fled in 1975, 76, and he started building this one in 78. And it's a straight line. Everything's a straight line, but it's just straight across the river to the other one. But this is inland, so we can't see the other one from here. So he started building in 1978. He died in 96, I think, and they carried on building after him. I don't know if you actually can tell which ones will be after him, but there are some still in construction now. And apparently it's a combination of Buddhism, Hinduism and Christianity. But apparently there's also a mosque here, and I think he is entombed in the mosque. It's raining. It's our second day in 14 weeks of actual rain all day. Don't like rain.
So on the third floor, the top floor, this very odd temple, kind of half temple, half mosque really. There are lots of Buddha images, there's stuff everywhere, but the mummified body of the man who created all this is in that fishbowl dome. You can see his head on the left hand side. He's been there since 1996 when he died. There's lots and lots of old photographs of him as well here. Yeah, I think they are. However,
I think drawings, because
they are really badly touched up, CGI'd, drawn, I don't know.
he had monster eyebrows according to these.
It is all a little bit macabre here, but fascinating to see. There is, however, from the third floor, a fabulous view over the whole gardens here. Luckily the rain stopped as well, so it doesn't look like we're going to get soaked on the way home. There's nothing nicer than an evening walk along the promenade on the last night, overlooking the Mekong.
He's right, there is nothing nicer or more pleasant, apart from when I'm hungry. And
She's hungry. I need a beer. She's hungry.
And we can't find any between.
But it is a lovely view. Lao is quiet. There ain't many lights on there. However, the Thai side is a lot lighter, brighter. There's a lot more money this side, I'm guessing. That side is so poor. This side, oh, restaurant.
Well, this is something you don't see every day. I think it's sugar.
Problem is, if they're not walking down the tourist track, then it's not being fed, and these things then actually get left. They starve.
Yeah.
But by doing it, it encourages it. It's kind of a bit of a mix.
It's difficult. We watched a programme recently on it, and because the tourism industry has changed massively, they don't have the money to be able to feed the elephants. But if you keep supplying them with the money, then they will keep breeding the elephants. But there's nowhere in the wild left for them. There's one area left, or a couple of areas, but there's one main area left for them in the wild where they can do their own thing. It is very hard.
So have a look at that.
Okay, now I'm a happy lady. This is Nong Khai. So this is coconut soup with chicken, and it is full of kaffir lime leaves and lemongrass and loveliness. It's like a hug.
And I've got one of my favourites, which is a Thai green curry and a heart-shaped rice. But it's a big bowl. It is absolutely full of aubergine.
It's really hot.
And full of flavour, and it's boiling hot. It's all fresh.
One of my favourite things in the world.
Just what you want when you've seen an elephant walk past. I've seen an elephant fly.
The next morning, we jumped on a train to Ayutthaya, the ancient capital of Thailand.
We are
At Wat Mahapat.
looks a little bit like Angkor Wat, with lots and lots of old buildings here. Very nice.
A little bit more detail. We are in what we've been calling Ayutthaya, but I think it's Ayutthaya. Yeah. I'm not sure. I'll ask somebody again how you say it, but we're in what used to be the capital city for a very long time, and there are lots of very, very grand temples that have gone to rack and ruin, but are beautiful for it. Made of brick. There's some plaster still left over. This was from the 14th to the 18th century, the capital, and some of these date back to the 14th century. Fairly old.
And action.
So there's lots and lots of temples in ruin here, but this particular one is famous for the Buddha head in the roots. I'm assuming it fell off of a Buddha statue at some point, and then the trees grown around it. I love how the trees grow around the structures here. They take things back, and obviously that is just
Very Lara Croft again, isn't it?
Yes, very Angkor Wat-esque.
Claire is very excited because we've just found the tour group. They get everywhere, absolutely bloody everywhere, don't they?
It's a Hungarian tour group, and Tom's like, I recognise some of those words, they're Hungarian. So I went and listened to them.
I recognised it from far away.
I went and stood next to them to try and hear it, and I recognised 4 distinct different words. I'm very excited. I actually recognised the words in another language.
Hopefully, by the time this video comes out, which is going to be a long way away from where it is now, we're in January 2023. I reckon it's going to be at least June when this comes out. I might already have my passport by then.
And I'm got to learn the language to get mine.
What we were saying is this place is very Angkor Wat-like, but clean and polished. Bit like a cross between Angkor Wat and Pompeii. Couldn't get the word out. So it's been done, it's been cleaned, it's been sort of restored a little bit. They're not restoring it, they're not rebuilding, they've just kind of, like Pompeii, made it accessible. But like Angkor Wat, actually, for the £1.20 cost to get in each, actually a bargain. It's fabulous here. considering most of these buildings are somewhere around what, 500, 600 years old, and the fact that almost every single one of them is on the slant somewhat, I'm surprised there's so many still standing. And the one right in front of us, the big one, is to the left a little bit. To the one the other side of it, looks like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The one to our right looks like that whole right hand side has dropped, but they're still stood, so there must be something about the way they built them.
Solid.
Clever out here in the Far East, aren't they?
Yeah.
We've just had a eureka moment. So the next set of ruins we've come to, the main temple here has got crypts underneath. The 4 stupas are all leaning out. We thought, their building's gone crap again. And suddenly I thought, it's exactly the same at the Taj Mahal.
The minarets at the Taj Mahal are slightly leaning out, so that if there is an earthquake, they fall away from the building. They don't actually fall on it and knock it down.
So now that we're at the top of the temple, you can actually see these 4 corner posts have been built. The bottoms are square, but the top is angled out. So it does look deliberate rather than just falling apart.
Or they're just falling apart at exactly the same rate skillfully.
I do love the way there's no barriers anywhere. Far East Asia health and safety is somewhat different than ours.
They don't have health and safety. The health and safety they have are, if you're stupid, you fall. This is very geeky, probably very boring footage, and Tom might well not use it. But this is the Buddha in the end of this hall. I think it's the ordination hall. I just thought it's quite interesting to see. Obviously it's not now a Buddha, it's the remnants of one. Quite interesting to see how it's structured. There's some big lumps of rock, lava-y looking rock, to make the base there, and then they make all the shape with bricks, and you can see there they then line it with concrete, mortar, whatever it was at the time, and then some flat bricks going round to create the shape, and then another rendering on the outside. When you see these massive statues, it's interesting to see how they're actually composed inside. I know, I'm a geek, sorry. Alright, sorry, geeky moment again. That last large Buddha that we looked at I thought it was interesting to see how it was constructed on the inside. Big stones surrounded by bricks that are surrounded by mortar and sideways bricks to form the shape. These are smaller Buddhas, and as you can see they're carved, but they're carved from several pieces of stone and then put together. These are obviously the pieces. I don't think they've quite matched these up 100% correctly with what was there, but most of them are carved in stone and then covered in something else, obviously to finish the detail and to make them look like one whole one. But this is how they used to make the Buddhas, in pieces and put together. But even these smaller ones, they're done in sections, and you can see that one, his knees fallen off the end, and then shoulders are in pieces as well. Obviously it's how you can carve that stone into that shape. Anyway, geeky moment finished. Thank you for indulging me.
We've come 8 hours south by train.
Yep.
So about 300 miles, I think.
Something like that.
Something like that. And we've kind of gone west a bit. But the temperature has gone from mid-early 20s to a high today of 33. And today's the coolest day for the next week. It's going to be up to 36, 38 in the next few days.
Yay!
Humidity has gone mental again.
Yay!
Even I'm going, oh my god, I just want to go for a swim somewhere. It is hot, hot, hot. So today's mystery tour, I'll miss out the murder because it'll just be death on bikes. We have hired the 2 smallest children's bikes you could ever imagine, and these are the two biggest bikes they had. Have a look at these, right? You can't see the scale until Claire stands next to it. There you go. My handlebars,
that bit doesn't work.
my knees hit the handlebars. There are no brakes on Claire's, and there's no gears. However, it's a lot of fun. So, if this is the last video you ever see,
you won't see it.
You won't see it because I'll be dead and I won't be able to edit it. Cars are lunatics here. The road is potholed. These tyres are about as thin as my little finger. So,
and they're probably about as old as me. They're a little bit perished.
Hey, anyway, we're at what something or another.
What? That something carrot.
The historic old part of Ayutthaya just goes on for acre and acre and acre. And you just cycle down the road and you look to your right and you see this. As we came close, there's another Buddha inside a almost derelict building. There's buildings absolutely everywhere, thousands of them. I never understand about Thais, everything's offset. That is not square to the building. Nothing's square, nothing's in the right place. It's a thing. Don't see that every day, do you? So there's no exact date for when this Buddha was built. However, it is in the early years of the Ayutthaya, wherever we are. Yeah, anyway. And was used for hundreds of years. However, in 1954, they decided they should do something and totally restructured it, covering the brick with the render as you can see today. And the face was completely restructured. So that's not even the original face. That's a 1954 version of the Buddha face.
But that is still nearly 70 years old.
Yeah.
I had to think then.
That is a beast. If I stop, it probably, yeah, is he going in the water? Yeah. Get away from me. He wasn't scared though, was he? Not at all. The next morning we took our trusty steeds over the river to Wat Yai Chai Mong Kong, the main temple of Ayutthaya. And now we've come to the main reclining Buddha of Ayutthaya. It's a really busy temple. This is absolutely enormous. As soon as the bells go, the dogs start howling. It's hilarious. And there you go. As soon as the bells stop, the dogs stop howling. That is so funny. Being on the river, people come here to feed the fish. As you can see, they swarm by the thousand. Unfortunately, our time in Ayutthaya was way too short. It's definitely somewhere I want to come back and explore again. Join us next time as we head to Bangkok to see the Golden Palace and a few other great things. Give us a thumbs up if you like this video and subscribe to our channel.